talked about bad blood. A lot of it exists in this first fight of the night. Welcome inside the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. Our first fight in the lightweight division. That man, Spencer Ruggeri, sat across the aisle from his opponent, Mark Irwin, on the flight here. He said Mark was all mouthy and he didn't speak, and so Spencer said, I just grabbed a whiskey. Mark Irwin, the Shark, 1-0 in his career, making his debut in the Trigon, said that's his side of the story. Spencer is already lost. I love it. He was nervous. He ordered a Jack and Coke. He's already self-sabotaged. 2 aisles, 2 stories, 2 men ready to go. Paulie, our tale of the tape for our first fight of the night.
And here it is, Irwin a little older at 33 years old, Spencer Ruggeri at 28 years old. He's also got quite a big reach advantage at 72 inches. We'll see if he can take advantage of that reach. 1 inch difference in height, ironically, is Irwin, who's taller, and he's also a pound lighter, as Ruggeri showed up a pound heavy yesterday on the scale.
Yes, just missed weight, but the fight is on, and to get us officially underway, here is Big Mo.
Biloxi, can you hear me? No, I said Biloxi, Mississippi. Can you hear me? Welcome to BYB 10, live from the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. We have 10 fights on the card tonight, culminating in our co-main and our main event championship fights. But it all begins with our first fight of the night. It is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division and is presented by Playmaker. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 136 pounds. He holds an undefeated bare-knuckle record of 1 win, 0 losses. And he fights out of Surf City, USA, Huntington Beach, California. Introducing Mark the Shark Irwin. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 137 pounds. He holds a bare-knuckle record of 0 wins, 1 loss, 1 no contest. And he fights out of Palos Verdes, California. Introducing Spencer Hayden Ruggeri. Our referee in charge, Bobby Wambacher.
Spencer. All right, gentlemen, we've been through the rules in the back. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch them up if you want.
The talking is over. Fists will fly. Handshake surprised me a little bit, I will admit.
Spencer's come around.
Yes, indeed. Or Spencer would tell you Mark's come around. Spencer Ruggeri, Mark Irwin.
That game's already started by Ruggeri.
He was doing that by the pool at noon.
Here we go. The southpaw, Spencer Ruggeri, in the black
counter
snakeskin trunks. Boom. Just like that, Mark Irwin, the Shark, with the knockdown.
That was a straight right hand right on the money.
Yep, counter. Left that jab out there a little lazily. You got hit with a counter right hand. So you got to be careful with the boxing skills of a guy like Irwin. He's got that technical, and he understands that step back counter again. He used the same exact step back counter and caught Ruggeri again.
Started training to become a professional boxer during the pandemic. Fought in Tijuana, Mexico, he said, for fun. And I'd say it's a great start for Mark Irwin. Benny Spencer likes to hang those arms low. He has those hands low, and that's made him susceptible early.
Well, it's a different style. I mean, this is the kind of style, like he said, he taught himself how to fight. He hasn't had anybody teach him, so this is a self-taught method. I'm not so sure it is the best method to use, but that is exactly what he's going to use here.
Driving, and they drove the cameraman right off the turnbuckle.
And you know Mel Valenzuela is a good matchmaker. When he not only gets him to fight, he puts him on the same flight across the aisle from each other.
He was ready for them to start. And these straight right hands can't miss from Irwin. Ruggeri has to be careful here. He's starting to take too many clean shots, clean straight right hands. And that's the thing about a boxer with the technique in bare knuckle boxing and bare knuckle fighting. Those straight shots can really be lethal.
Look
really
at his
be
eye
sharp.
already, Paulie.
Yep.
And Ruggeri's, he goes to that southpaw stance, but he's very lethargic the way he tries to bring that backhand in.
And here's again, walk right into it again, another counter.
Mark Irwin showcasing his boxing skills right here, right now. It is all over.
Irwin doing push-ups.
Like that.
I don't even think he got hit with a shot.
He might have used up all his energy at noon out there by that pool. He was shadow boxing out there in the middle of the heat.
Yeah, but you need a trainer to do this. Like, I know guys, they want to get in there and just do it because they're tough. And you said Mike, Goldie, you said he taught himself to fight. You can't get into this kind of combat without understanding this. Especially coming from boxing, a guy like Irwin. I can remember breaking my right hand in the bare knuckle fight, but that step back counter was landing constantly. I just couldn't use the right hand anymore, but I was landing the step back counter on the jab consistently every time I used it. It works a lot on wild guys that you end up seeing in bare knuckle fighting, and you could see Irwin obviously has his right hand. He's using that counter right hand. He's using the counter with the right hand.
The man he just hugged, Ian McCall, an outstanding mixed martial artist, a world champion during his time competing in MMA, the coach and great friend of Mark Irwin.
And that's a great point, Goldie, that you actually mentioned McCall, because Irwin, coming from a boxing background but has started to train, he didn't get touched. Irwin, you didn't get touched, buddy. I'm telling you, he wants to know my opinion. I mean, he didn't get touched. I thought it was a flawless performance. But Benny, with the MMA trainer, he comes from a boxing background. You get the MMA trainer, so you start to figure out how to understand how to protect yourself in those clinches and that dirty boxing.
But I thought what he did really well was he was very calm. He realized this was a very unorthodox, very awkward type of guy, but he kept his composure, he kept his base of power, and he stayed within that pocket, and that's where he was throwing his shot. Never lean.
No, I mean, and he let Ruggeri do the leading. He kept making Ruggeri miss. That step back trap was working constantly.
To make our first fight of the night official, we get it up to Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Bobby Wambacher calls a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 57 seconds of the very first round, declaring your winner by knockout, Mark the Shark Irwin!
Flawless performance to start the night for Mark the Shark Irwin. Here's Big Mo to talk to the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by our winner, Mark the Shark. Hold on a second, Mark. You wore these in the weigh-ins. You got mine right now. Mark, like Babe Ruth, man, you called your shot. You said you were going to knock him out in the first round. You did just that. How do you feel?
I feel like the champion of the world. I'm the baddest man on the planet. I told y'all that. I went out and I showed it. I'm coming back in August, and I'm fighting for the BYB belt, and I'm fighting for the American Diamond belt, and I'm going to win them both because I am the baddest man on the mother planet. Biloxi, let's go!
Now, the baddest man on the planet, you've built up quite a following. You're a little bit of a showman yourself. You put on a show tonight. Anything you have to say to your fans, your family, those that follow your career?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the BYB. You guys have been all class from start to finish. This is the best bare-knuckle boxing organization in the world. Thank you to my team, Bobby's Boxing, Coach Ian, Chelsea, Argos, CBD Health Solutions, Spaceweights, all my sponsors. I love you guys. Thank you. I'm going to go party with the ring girls. I'll catch y'all later. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Mark the Shark Irwin.
He obviously has skills, guys. He just needs a little bit of personality.
But I tell you what, he's got his priorities in the right place. That's what I'm a big fan of.
And there's that first knockdown, Benny, the counter right hand, lazy right jab thrown out by Ruggeri. Irwin was waiting for it, and he's going to do it again here as Ruggeri's coming in, crossing his feet, walking into another counter right hand as Irwin steps back and times him perfectly.
That almost looks like Mount Rushmore was fighting because, I mean, he came in with that face first. It wasn't moving.
Yep. And that's the danger. You gotta, and that's why you need a trainer, man. You can't teach yourself to fight because those are little technical mistakes you end up making.
And Paul, you can explain that. I mean, the different levels. People don't realize the different levels you have to go through as a fighter. I mean, you get right there, Mark Irwin now doing his push-ups, but there's levels you have to go through, and you got to pay the price.
Yeah, and then, you know, and people see bare knuckle and they think, okay, oh well, I've been in street fights, I can get in there and do this. But these are trained guys. These guys that are successful in this kind of sport, they still have a background in something. Most of the guys I see in bare knuckle come from an MMA background. Some guys like Mark Irwin come from a boxing background. You got to have a background in something because this is real combat. Doesn't matter if you can associate it to street fighting.
Mark Irwin said, and I quote, "He is not on my level." Claudia Trejos, I guess he just proved that point to be very true.
I totally agree, Goldie, and of course, Benny's always right. And Paulie, you called it. There was a lot of flair, and perhaps not so much flame on Spence's fire. I think he owes us a little bit because he did do a lot of talking, didn't he?
He did a lot of talking, but when we got into the Trigon, it was Irwin who backed everything up that he said. I liked the way he came out, very controlled, very calm. All his punches were straight. You didn't see a lot of that looping roundhouse stuff that we see a lot of. His straight punches were so effective, they landed right on the button, and they got the job done in a minute 57.
Well, he wants to come back in August, so I'm looking forward to that. The one thing that I did notice is the fact that he's completely upright. His footwork was flawless. He actually adjusted his height because he was just a tad bit taller, and that right was going in on cue. So I think Ruggeri is going to have to do a little bit of work on defense, and I agree with Paulie. Boxing is definitely not the type of sport that you self-teach.
No.
You definitely need somebody to guide you and give you, let's call it, the ins and outs, because he did not do any of that.
I've never seen a fighter that was self-trained have big success in any kind of fighting sport. So I don't believe in that. He does need to get a trainer for sure.
Absolutely.